another second to see who else will join. All right, let's start this off. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the third Anti-Stall Racing Christmas GT3 Series race at the one and only Charlotte Motor Speedway. Today we'll be turning left, and for a surprise, also right on this track sometimes. We hope you had a Merry Christmas and that you all stayed safe. The schedule for today is the same as always. We have a 90-minute practice, which is ongoing right now, a 20-minute open qualifying, followed by a 5-minute warm-up and a 1-hour race. So, like the last races, we'll be providing stewarding. This means that penalties, drive-throughs, holds, etc., and full course cautions can and will be awarded and/or thrown if needed. We will only call a full course caution if there's an incident involving 3 or more vehicles. You will be given 2 quick repairs. Use those if needed. We prefer that to crab walking back to the track and taking other people out. You will automatically receive a drive-through penalty when you reach 18 incident points and every 5 incident points thereafter. We will not clear these penalties under any circumstances. If you have an incident with the driver, please stay calm, collected, and naturally do not insult the driver on the radio. We will note any incidents that are investigated through race control chat, and the outcomes will also be broadcasted there as well. So make sure you have the race control channel enabled. If your incident is not mentioned, you can ask the stewards to investigate this through voice chat once, mentioning it multiple times, or calling out or insulting other drivers is not allowed. As I previously said, keep the race control channel activated at all times in iRacing. I will do a radio check in a little bit so you guys know if it's working for you. If it's not, then let me know. Keep the voice channels clear at all times, except for the previously followed incident reports and pitting in and pitting out notifications. Reminder that this is an open qualifying session, so please be aware of other drivers on track. It is your responsibility to leave a gap to the next driver. There's a chance that there's a pace difference between yourself and another driver, so leave a sufficient gap at the start of your hot lap. On your out lap, please be aware of drivers on their fast laps. Check your delta pit exit, don't impede other drivers. The pit exit is quite tricky here, so make sure you have a good enough gap so you don't impede the driver who's potentially on a hot lap. If you're looking to leave a gap, the optimal place to do so will be between turn 11 and 8, which is the first oval section after the first oval entry, so before the first chicane, and between turns 12 and 15, which is the second oval section before the start-finish chicane. If you're slowing down in affirmation zones, please stick towards the high side of the oval or the apron. Don't take the low line as you'll be impeding drivers going into the corners. Do not slow down during the first sector, which is the entire part from start finish until the oval entry section as the last chicane into. Sorry. Yeah, so it's into the entire first sector until the first chicane. That doesn't make sense. Sorry. Okay. Do not slow down in the first sector until the oval entry, as this will most likely impede drivers. Unless you're on a hot lap, there will be no overtaking allowed after turn 12, which is the first chicane, as a gentleman's agreement. This to allow people to leave their gap and queue up if needed. If you're caught impeding a driver slightly, you may be warned. If it's in any significant way, you'll be given a 8-minute hold penalty, therefore basically removing your chance to qualify. In-game voice chat during qualifying should be kept clear. The race will be 1 hour long. Remember that the first sector can be a tough time on cold tires, so please stay careful and stay calm and collected. We will be strict on turn 1, lap 1 incidents. You can't win the race there, so remember that. The cars are limited to 40% fuel. According to our calculations, this should result in 2 pit stops, but use your own calculations if needed. During a caution, please maintain a safe distance and keep a reasonable speed. No unnecessarily dangerous acceleration or braking, please. Also, at a restart, please make sure that all the cars are at a normal gap, no jumping the restart to gain an advantage there. Please slow down for yellow flags. Any incident resulting from this and from not respecting yellow flag will be harshly punished. Any driver rejoining the track in an unsafe manner will also be punished. And as we said before, pit lane exit is relatively unsafe, so make sure you check that out and call that out. The pit lane entry, therefore, opposing that is actually relatively safe. So just make sure to call out when you're pitting and when you're pitting out. And if you're pitting in, stick to the apron immediately after turn 13, 14 to share your intent. That was basically my notes. If there's anyone who has any questions, please raise your hands or post something into the appropriate channels for that. And if there's not, then we'll carry on. I see Charlie has a question. Let me get him up here. I see a question from Chris. Any rules regarding the use of the apron? We Anytime you're going into the oval section itself, we prefer not to use the apron. Overtaking on the apron, therefore, should not be allowed. There are some edge cases. The painted part after the chicane, I believe so. Yes, so for example, on the chicane, on the oval entry, there's the blue line. You can cross that line to gain a better line going onto there. But yeah, as soon as you go into the actual oval part where there's the banking, please be over the blue line. Okay, Charlie had a question about the pitting in idea. Yes. Let me go back to my notes for that one. Yes, for pitting out, please check your delta and make sure you announce when you're pitting out so drivers know that there's a car coming out of the pit lane, since the pit lane exit is relatively dangerous, as it could cross the line of people driving there. Pit lane entry is relatively safe though, so just make sure you stick to the apron after turn 13, 14, which is turn 4 if you're doing the regular oval. And just make sure you use your your callouts in game. You don't have to come down that early. I believe the entry here is, let me check. Yeah, as soon as you come down, you're going towards the last chicane. You can also go into the pit lane, so it's completely safe. You don't need to take the apron before turn 4. Just coming out of turn 4 and just make sure you use the apron there. I'll have to check that one out, but I thought it was relatively safe to do so. But in general, use your best, your best judgment for that one. Um, we don't want to see people getting rear-ended going into the pit lane, so make sure you notify people. Make sure you stay safe. If we do see it's getting relatively unsafe with pit stops, then we'll notify you during the race as well. All right. Well, if there's no further questions, then let's get on with it. Good luck. And if I don't speak to you guys again, then Happy New Year, and we'll see you on the next race. Good luck, everyone.
Hello and welcome to the Anti-Stall Racing GT3 series, the Christmas series. We have now gone past Christmas. We're in the lovely few days of, well, it's between Christmas and New Year, so no one has a clue what's going on, really, do they? So we are here at the Charlotte Roval for race number 3 of 4 for the 2 weeks over Christmas and New Year's. The next round will be at Interlagos on the 2nd of January. But today at the Charlotte Roval, big curbs, chicanes in the night, difficult track. I've seen a lot of spinning so far in practice. It seems the track's a little cold. People not used to the temperatures of America. This is the shortest track so far out of the 3 that we've gone to. Silverstone last time out, quite a bit longer than the circuit today. I am once again joined by Edward for round number 3 here today.
Hello everyone, as you mentioned, beautiful track. I think we're also joined today by Jared.
Yep. I'm sat here controlling all your cameras and your timing sheets and all that mumbo jumbo. I'll also be here chatting with you guys for a little bit.
Yep, so here we are at the third race of the 2-week long season, and we've seen 2 very interesting races. The first one have been at the Watkins Glen circuit, and it has been won by Alessandro Iso, and the second one has been won by Luca Wunsch, with Alessandro Iso finishing second. Luca Wunsch has also won the last race with the W12 cars, so obviously he's most probably the driver to watch, and it's going to be a very interesting battle for the win today. The practice is led now by Alessandro Iso. He's in first place.
A little bit less cars than normal today, I'd say, but there's still time for people to join during qualifying. Quite a difficult track, this one. Horrible sausage curbs on the chicanes. Quite tight walls. I'd say the section turns 5, 6, 7, and 8. Quite actually more 6, 7, 8. Quite difficult actually. Almost turns into a sort of street track there. The walls quite close in the mid section, and it's also uphill with some. It's just not flat. None of it's flat there. It's a very difficult part for the cars more than the drivers. Getting the setup right for that section could be difficult with an hour's worth of racing to go here today. To try and keep it out of the walls could cause to be quite a difficult concern, especially when in race trim you're going to have cars around you. Quite a hard section of circuit. I think number 9 is coming up to it now, so what we see is they go up the hill, then slightly down, and then around as well, and then the corner curves, banks on you a bit further down. There's a wall there, wall here that you've got to aim for. Then it tightens up back onto the oval, and I've been on board with some of the cars. Very tight corner that coming back onto the oval actually. If you understeer a little wide, there's just a concrete wall waiting for you.
Yeah, it's an interesting track, and I think this is the third time that I'm commentating a race on this track, and I'm not commentating here at Anti-Stall Racing for a long time. We've raced twice on the road series that ASR is running also on iRacing, and yeah, we've seen 2 very interesting races. There was the first one with the Formula Vs, which obviously are completely different to these GT3 cars, and also a race here with Radicals that has been very interesting. We've had beautiful battles for the win, and yeah, obviously these cars are much different also to the Radicals and to the Formula Vs ones, but we've always had great racing, and I'm sure we will have here again. And as you've mentioned, the curbs, I remember when we raced here with Radicals, every single lap cars were literally flying over the curbs, all 4 wheels off the ground, and it was just making for amazing pictures. Also, it's the first night race of the season, and it's the first night race that I've commentated in a very long time, so it's always beautiful to see a night race, isn't it?
Yeah, especially I must say in the pictures, cars look fantastic at night with the lights. The night lights really do show off some of the liveries, not only in game but in real life. I must admit, the cars in the dark just somehow look even better than usual. But yeah, the first night race here today, so the night lights here. I don't think there's no night lights at Silverstone, and I don't think there's any at Watkins Glen.
No, but I remember that in real life, Silverstone has a night mode for racing. I remember Mercedes has gone there and has done some very interesting videos from there. But as we are talking, we have already started qualifying. Already 15 seconds have passed from qualifying. And I'm wondering, Wes, this time I don't think we have Luca Vunshin server, the winner from last Sunday. And I'm wondering, who would you put your money on? Is it going to be Alessandro Iso, who won the first race of the season, or we will have a new winner again?
I think my money's definitely got to be on Alessandro. I'm not sure if you can hear in the background. Randomly, I'm pretty certain. No, there's not a boat coming in to shore. It's, I think, the water tank in the ceiling. But yeah, Alessandro will be my pick to win. He won round 1, and sadly the competition of Luca's not here today. But it wasn't easy for him actually. Looking at round 1 actually, he did have quite a decent gap. I'd say yeah, my money's probably a safe bet is on Alessandro. But you never know. In qualifying, we'll see. I've noticed that they've all seemed to change cars, I think, if I'm not wrong. We've now got Benny gone from a Ferrari to a Lamborghini. I think the Hispanic Fusion drivers have both changed. I think one's now in a Ferrari and one's in a BMW, so that's different from the Porsche. So they've all seemed to change cars. So wondering if it's got to be because of the track and how different it is to the other circuits we've visited so far.
Yeah, but I'm just wanted to ask for your opinion. Like, we're seeing a lot of drivers changing cars, and I'm wondering again. I know we talked about this before. Are drivers changing cars just because they are racing for fun and they're enjoying it and they're trying different cars, or are they changing cars because some cars are faster on different tracks? But again, you see a lot of diversity here.
Yeah, there's a lot, isn't there? Actually, you're really right. Yeah, there's Ferraris, Porsches, more BMWs than there have been previously. I think we still have an Audi as well. The only car I don't think we have is a Mercedes. We no longer have the Ford GT. JJ Parkinson's gone to a Ferrari. Sorry, not JJ. It was Joe Pinder has gone to a Ferrari. I think JJ's still in the Lamborghini. But yeah, a massive range of cars, even with only I think 13 or 12 drivers. But still a big range of cars, as I feel like they're coming to the end of their first laps now. Who's going to do what times?
Beneficia, I think, has collided with the wall. They're just going out of turn 17, the last corner. He has just clipped the wall a little bit. 1:16.4, so that's a time to be kept on. Alessandro Iso has gone first place.
He's done a 1:15.1. Also, just to note, he's right behind Benny, so I don't know how big. I don't think maybe actually slipstream could be a little thing, because obviously they got the last corner, turn 14 is one of the oval corners, so maybe getting some slipstream through there, and also turn 9's an oval, so they do use those, the banked corners like they're on now, so if you do get slipstream from a car there, maybe that could be quite a big help in qualifying.
Yeah, I think it is, and especially with the GT3 cars, slipstream is incredibly important. Like, we see that also in real life in GT3 racing, slipstream is incredibly important. And going out of turn 8, you have turns 9 and 10, and that are part of the oval. Also, turns 13 and 14 are also part of the oval. So obviously, you are going flat for a pretty long time. So I think that slipstream may make a difference, but Alessandro Iso is a very fast driver, so the gap of 1 second and 3 tenths, I think there are between the first and second driver. No, there are only 8 tenths between the first and the second driver. Benefic. That's also made by the quality of driving rather than slipstream. Obviously, slipstream makes an effect, but not bigger than half a second, I think.
Yeah, Benny just slotting into second now, only 4 tenths back off of Alessandro, so that's probably the closest people have been to him during the season, well, other than Luca, but especially today, I think, practice. Interesting to see what lap times they do end up doing, as, yeah, most drivers now in the 1:15s. Elias P6 at the moment in the 16s, just finished one of his times. Very difficult track. I can hear people in the background tapping walls. I think especially out of the last corner, the last chicane, people are hitting the wall, and the other one too. Yeah, the walls are quite close here. Bit of an oval street circuit, bit weird, bit of a unique dynamic to the circuit, as Sebastian, I think, is the only one in the Audi.
Yeah, but this is an interesting track, and it it makes me think about the Daytona course that obviously there were racing, not actually with the anti-star racing, but there is the 24 hours of Daytona, and obviously that's a very very good track for racing, and there we are seeing GT3 cars, and this track a little bit reminds me of that. It might be also from the fact that obviously it's in the United States, and obviously the outside of the track and the paintings are a lot the same, but also the design of the track is pretty much the same.
Yeah, pretty similar, I'd say. Yeah, using the part of the oval circuit in the infield as well. I think Daytona a bit bigger, maybe, if I'm not wrong, than Charlotte. Top of my head, I feel like Daytona's a bit bigger than Charlotte. I could be wrong. They could both be like 2.5 miles in oval length, but I'm not American, so I don't know that. Yeah, I think I saw on the wall that Charlotte's the home of racing or something in America, but I feel like Daytona or Indianapolis maybe nick that. Maybe in the Southern America, as Sebastian comes to cross the line. Doesn't actually cross that line. Yeah, yeah, pretty similar though. I think Daytona and Charlotte with the Roval course. Both obviously get the GT racing over there, so they're both fantastic circuits. There you go, America's home for racing is what it says on the wall. Yeah, very. I don't know how much. Do they drive the NASCARs around the Roval as well in Charlotte? I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah, they
that's
do. They
they do,
do.
don't they? Yeah, but they
I,
don't do the Daytona road course at all.
I
Or do
remember
they?
I remember one time, like around 1 month ago, I watched a video about the first race here at the Roval. I hope I'm not wrong. The race was in 2019, and there has been a lot of drama with Jimmy Johnson colliding with his opponent in his quest to win one more time in NASCAR, and I don't think he won since then. Again, I may be wrong. I don't watch NASCAR. I used to watch it, but since it's not streamed here in Romania, my home country, I don't really watch it anymore. But again, that NASCAR race was incredible, and also seeing those cars that don't have a lot of downforce and they are pretty hard to drive around these corners. It always makes amazing racing, and also a lot of incidents and very controversial moments. So, yeah, I it's interesting to watch at least the highlights.
Yeah, I definitely watched the highlights on YouTube or some around the interesting line there by Alessandro. Definitely made that corner I said was difficult look easy. Yeah, NASCAR drama. Yep, sounds about right. Someone colliding for someone for the win also sounds dead on. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, the track here, I think you are right. Around 2019, maybe even 2018. I feel it's one of those years where because they had massive drama about the curbs being too big and destroying the curbs coming off or something. If I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah, that's
wrong.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's quite. Yeah, those curbs still look absolutely huge on iRacing, so I wonder if they ever actually fix that. I wouldn't want to hit those curbs in any sort of car, especially a race car. Does Alessandro go any quicker? I don't believe so. No, he does by a tenth.
So I checked now. It's the 2018 race actually,
Ah,
where Jimmy Johnson and True Jr. Crashed in the last lap, I think it was. Anyways, yeah, amazing race, beautiful to watch. Anyways, the qualifying standings as of now are Alessandro and Benny Fitch, the first two drivers. And as we've talked before the start of the qualifying, Alessandro is really making a same here. He's in first place and he's, just doing what we thought he would do.
doing what he does best, being at the top of the table. A minute ago we saw Sebastian, and I've just seen him again spin, and another driver taking a void action. This time the driver doesn't end up in the wall, as Elias luckily could dip to the inside. I wasn't sure who it was a minute ago. I think one of the Ferraris ended up having to avoid him and go into the wall. It was difficult circuit, very difficult. I say to lose the rear. I feel like it's more tyre grip or the circuit grip. I'm not really sure. As Chris goes up to P4, but yeah, that cars are spinning here, and a lot of them were doing it in practice. So I do expect a few mistakes by a few drivers during the race, just completely on their own, just as we saw actually in Silverstone. We saw quite a few instances of drivers just having their own moments. Actually, more Watkins then get actually think about it. As now crossing the line, Elias, does he go any quicker? Sadly, not, stays P7 for now.
Yeah, I don't know what are I mean, we've all heard the drivers briefing before start of race, but I'm seeing a lot of drivers cutting the corners in turn 12 and turn 8. They are always cutting the corner, and also here the track limits. Drivers are not really considering it, so I'm curious if the stewards will analyze or note anything from this corner cutting, or are drivers just allowed to take their own line?
Yeah, well, it was on the. They were talking about the painted lines and the I can't remember the bottom apron. That's it. They're not allowed, I believe, on the apron, are they? So no overtaking. I believe it was on the apron, and I can't remember what they said about the painted line. I do have the information, I think, saved. I have the file saved somewhere, but I'll have to find that. Let me see. I have. I do believe it only says about actually when they're pitting. As where did Francesco just go? Did he go? He just went, I think, P3 now, just on the thousandth behind Benny now. So second and third, the gap between them 1,000th of a second. That is absolutely insanely close. Benny actually out there on track now, trying to improve in the Alpine liveried Lamborghini. Almost forgot what make that was, or if you want to call it how it actually is, an expensive Fiat. No, sorry, that's a Ferrari, isn't it? That's an expensive Fiat. As he massively hits the curbs, and that's not going to get him any good time. Looking at that, or it's not going to get him a good run onto his next lap either. So that could just ruin 2 laps in one corner there.
Yep, and we're just seeing cars going so hard over those curbs, just as we were talking about them. And I remember just at the start of the stream, I also mentioned the fact that with the radicals, the cars were just flying over the curbs. So, yeah, if it would be real life, I don't think the drivers would hit them that hard. I don't know if we have damage on these cars but again, you know, they're just going over these curves without any stress of damage or anything else. Yeah, I've just heard it. Damage is turned off, so, you know, they can go as much as they want over the curbs. Anyways, we are now watching Benny Fidge. One thing that I've noticed about Benny Fidge is that in any series he's racing, he's using a Formula 1 livery. So when he raced with the Formula V's, he was using the Alpine livery. Today we're seeing again him with the Alpine livery. On Sunday, when we've seen him with the Ferrari, he was having the Ferrari livery. So, well, he was having the Williams livery on the Ferrari. So, obviously, very, very interesting and nice touch from my point of view.
Yeah, I think Sebastian now, which is in a crocodile livery, comes to the line. Does he improve from P9? Ooh, tell me eventually. I don't think he does. No, his time didn't count. So I'm not sure where you can go off on this circuit, but it doesn't say his last lap, and he definitely was on one. So not sure what's happened there. Joe's is also on a lap. Garcia in a Lamborghini as well. That's not what he's normally in. So I believe, I don't know what he's normally in. Definitely not a Lamborghini, because I've definitely seen that livery before, I don't think. I could be wrong, but I don't think I have. I'm not sure what he's normally in. I would look at my results, but sadly they don't tell me actually what. They tell me the nationality, but sadly I don't have the car he normally uses. Something's telling me it's BMW, but I could be wrong.
Last week we've seen a lot of Porsches, and now I don't think I've seen one Porsche on the track.
Yes, we have only the one. No, two. We have two, actually. And you're right, we did have a lot last week. I think we had near 10 last week, and we have only 2 today.
Yeah, drivers just switching cars from race to race. It's something that I would really love to see in real life. Like, imagine a driver now driving a Porsche, and then next week switching to the Lamborghini, and then next week switching to a Ferrari. So I do think that would make a very interesting series of racing in real life. But obviously, this is the beauty of video games and racing games. You can do anything you want.
Elias there in a lovely ASR livery. The anti-stall liveries on the Lamborghini. The lovely blue, is it bubbles? If I'm not wrong, looking at that. The blue bubbles of the Lamborghini one. Lovely. Also having the German flag on the side of the wing, so we know it's him, which I think is a nice, unique touch as he crosses the line. And doesn't improve. There's a 116.669. Lots of sixes involved in that, because his number is also number 6. It would be better if he was 6th, but sadly he's 7th, as somebody just comes up the pits. I think that's Jose. But yeah, so he's P7 for now, and I think goes on another lap. He's also got his Twitch, I believe, on the back of his win spoiler, even, which is a nice touch in purple. Because I think that's the only colour, maybe that's going to stand out on that car. That's nice. Nice livery.
Yeah, we're not seeing any more green or purple on the field. Only yellow sector, so this is obviously not a good thing. But it just looks like drivers improved or set their best times at the start of this qualifying, and right now they are not actually at the same pace as of the start. I don't know if that's because of track conditions or just drivers not being able to improve.
Well, 5 drivers haven't set a time yet, I've noticed that. So 5 of them deciding to start from the back. And when 5 of you do that, you don't end up not being at the back, actually. So, for example, 2 of them end up going to be in sort of the midfield area, not even at the back. So maybe they should just put time in. Chris, also in P5, has a lovely liveried Ferrari. I actually love how the green works on the black. And that is a lot of curb he's taking there. Lots of confidence as he crosses the line. Doesn't improve, 4 tenths slower than his previous best.
We're now watching Alessandro, but again, he's not on an amazing lap. We're seeing 3 yellow sectors there at the start of the lap. So now he's rounding up the 4th sector. It's another yellow one. So, yep. Again, not great. We're also seeing Garcia there with a green sector and then a yellow one, but that's pretty interesting to see, thinking that he have not set any time as of now. So I don't know where the yellow sector comes from. That's another yellow sector. Anyways, we're now watching the Spanish driver rounding up the track, going through turns 13 and 14, banked corners, which reminds me a lot of Zandvoort from Formula 1, for the guys that are more familiar with European racing. Now the last chicane, turns 16 and 17, rounding up the lap, and he goes in the last place, 10th place. He was looking on a much better lap, but only a 1.20. That's not gonna help him too much. And we are now watching Biasiotto in the Ferrari, so that's a good combo of Italian driver and Italian car. It's now also going through the banked corners, 13 and 14, and through the last chicane, where drivers tends to take a lot of curb. We're seeing him again going on the curves. Does he improve? Let's see. No, he doesn't.
We're going to see another fascinating battle, I believe, between Francesco and Chris and Estefano. I believe we've seen them battle all 3 races so far. And I want to note that Chris Van in P5 has also got on the podium every single race so far. P3 in both of them. Only drivers that have beaten him actually are Luca and... No, I'm not wrong. I was going to say Luca and Estro, but no, I'm wrong actually, because Estefano has beaten him too. So we're going to see a battle there between the 2 teammates and Chris once again, I believe. This time Benny could be involved, and that was a roll. And that was a roll for... Who was that? Was that... Barrera? Did Barrera? Francesco have a good roll?
Yeah, my mistake. Just want to mention it. I was checking the telemetry now, and Francesco Biasiotto is actually not an Italian driver. He's from Costa Rica. So, yep, my mistake there. But we've seen at the last race a brief battle between the teammates, Francesco Biasiotto and Barrera Tato, and also with Chris Van den Ness, who managed to overtake drivers who were actually teammates. So yeah, obviously it's going to be interesting to see that again, especially with the fact that Biasiotto and Barratato are again very close to one to each other in third and fourth place. We're now watching Chris Van den Ness. I was just talking about him. He's going now through turns 11 and 12, the chicane.
This will be his last lap.
Let's see if he can improve and maybe get in between the two teammates. But he only has one green sector, two yellow ones, so that's not amazing for him. But let's see, maybe in last chicane, can he find a little bit of gap, a little bit of speed to overtake them and improve his time? No, he doesn't. 1:16.1. He remains there in 5th place. Sadly for him. That's not amazing. And I think this has been it for everyone. Only Chris Van den Ness is on a lap, but 2 yellow sectors, not even a green one. I don't know if he can improve his best time. As you've mentioned, Wes, he's having an amazing delivery. It reminds me a lot of the NVIDIA logo and also livery.
Yes, yeah, I'm with you there. I agree. So, yeah, that's a good call, that. And it works, doesn't it? It works really well.
Yeah, I am.
It's the right color green, that.
That's it. He just disappeared. I think he has gone straight to the pit lane, and this has been it for qualifying. We will now be having 5 minutes of warm up for drivers to just get the last changes before the race, and then we will be actually going for the hour of racing. So the qualifying standings are: Alessandro Iso will start from pole position, Benefigi in second place, Francesco Biasiotto in third, Barratato fourth, Van den Ness will start fifth in the race, Brett Punkari will start sixth, Elias Stromer seventh, Charlie Lord eighth, Van de Heuvel in ninth, Jose Garcia in 10th place, and the drivers that have no set time are JJ Parkinson, Leon Van Elvoet, Joe Pinder, and Debu Crofty. So I don't know what are their strategy for the race, but it's going to be very interesting to see. Maybe they are trying the last to first challenge. Who knows? I don't know though who would try this strategy, especially knowing that there are prizes involved in this league. So obviously, I don't know what their strategy is. Maybe some connection issues. Who knows?
I think they're trying to avoid the chaos that they expect. It's definitely a team tactic by JJ Parkinson and Joe Pinder. As we know, those two, I believe, are teammates, but they run different cars but the same livery. So I feel like that's a tactic that they've come up with, that they're just going to stay at the back for turn one and go from there. Because I'm thinking to myself that turn one here, not the easiest corner in the world. I don't think, quite tight. It then goes into the closed-in wall section. So how many cars is it? 14 cars going into there. We have been very clean throughout the season so far. We've only had... We had one incident. I think we had right at the last corner of Watkins Glen. We had a turn one lap one incident, but right at the end of the lap. So the odds realistically are actually in the favour of no incidents on lap one. But of course, caution's always a good thing to proceed with.
Yeah, we've had some incidents in this league as you were talking about it. The first that comes to my mind when I'm thinking about it, I think it's between Alessandro Iso, if I'm not wrong, and Joe Taberner, I think. And Alessandro Iso then came back, but I might be wrong. That's what I remember from the race. And, Joe Taberner has been spun round, and then we've had a safety car. So we've had some incidents, not a lot, as you've mentioned, so it's been a pretty clean league. But again, turn one, 14 cars. I mean, we've seen in all the races here on this track in the anti-stall, and we've had some incidents there. And I remember, obviously, the Formula Vs, again, they are not alike these GT3 cars, but there were always incidents in turn one. So yeah, that might be a strategy of starting last, avoiding the incidents, and then coming back. If you have the pace, then obviously it's a virtual world. You can do anything you want.
quite close at the end of the qualifying. Looking at it, I'm not sure how close the other qualifying have been, but very close between second and third. But close for the top 6 there within a second, and 7th just outside of the second. So it looks like all the cars are quite close. I think we should have some close battling throughout. I think we have a race for P2 between about at least 4 or more cars. I think P5 and 6 could have a big battle between at least 3 as well. So we could have some good battling going on. Of course, our race here, 2 pit stops as well, as the fuel is limited to 40%. So 2 pit stops should happen. We do not expect tyres. We've learnt so far that pitting for tyres in a 1 hour race is not the way to go. People have tried, and they shouldn't do that.
Yeah, but who knows? I mean, we're seeing drivers not sitting a time in qualifying, so again, we might see some interesting strategies. Anyways, qualifying is done, and we're waiting for cars to go on the grid and just start the race. Go on with it. So, just going a little bit through the history of this league. And I will start with the Watkins Glen race, where Alessandro Iso won in a pretty dominant measure, 14-second advantage to Stefano Barrera, who we don't have here today on the grid. And also Chris Van Ness finished in 3rd place. And the second race in Silverstone, Luca Wunsch won again, very dominant, 21-second advantage to Alessandro Iso, who finished 2nd. And then in 3rd place, we've had again Chris Van Ness, who finished on the podium in 3rd place in every race so far. So, yep, Alessandro Iso looks like without Luca Wunsch, he doesn't have any opponent. But again, Luca Wunsch, when he was racing here, has been extremely fast. And also, we've seen him on Monday with the W12 cars. He won there, also pretty dominant. And we're now seeing the grid again for the race. So I'm gonna go through it. Alessandro Iso first, Benny Fitch second on the front row, Francisco Biasiotto third with his teammate Stefano Barrera in 4th place, Chris Van Den Ness 5th, and Brett Puncari in 6th place, Elias Stromer 7th, Charlie Lord 8th, Sebastian Van de Heuvel in 9th place, Jose Garcia in 10th place, JJ Parkinson 11th, Leon Van Elwood in 12th place, and 13th place Joe Pinder, and P14 Debu Crofty. I don't know if Debu's name has anything to do with David Crofty, but their names are a lot alike. So we're now seeing the lights going out. So interesting start we're seeing. Obviously, we're gonna have a rolling start.
Cool. While this rolling starts happen, I run to grab my dinner.
So we're not seeing a lot of cars actually joining the race. I think I was seeing there some missing spots on the grid. I don't really know what happened, but we see only 8 cars. I think there were out of the 14 that should have started the race. Let's just see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 cars. So what's happening, Jared?
Yeah, not entirely sure on this one. On my telemetry, we've got a couple of guys that haven't sat in the car. So Charlie and Sebastian, who I would have expected to get in the car by now, are not in their cars. We've also got JJ Parkinson, who hasn't got in the car either. Yeah, a bit strange. I wonder if they're going to do a from pit start. Don't know why they'd do that in this race. Or they went to get a drink and missed the start. Who knows? Guess find out very shortly.
Yeah, so as Wes gone and took his dinner, who knows, maybe these drivers just missed the start. But anyways, they've had 5 minutes of warm-up where they could have done everything they wanted. Anyways, again, we've talked about strategy, so maybe some drivers would think that starting from the pit lane and avoid any incident is a better strategy than actually starting on track, but I'm not seeing anyone on the pit lane, so wow. We might have another American drama as we've had in Formula 1 at Indianapolis in 2006 or 8, if I'm not wrong.
I just got word from Charlie Lord in the Twitch chat saying that he bailed, couldn't get comfortable with the car at all, which is fair enough. Yeah, I understand that completely.
Oh, that's sad to see. Obviously, you can race in this kind of races, even though you are not incredibly fast with the car. I mean, a lot of things can happen, and especially here at Charlotte, 2 incidents with 3 cars, and then you're on the podium. So, yeah, never lose your faith. Only 8 cars, 7 cars, I think we have. So that's, well, never great to see. We've had 14 cars starting the qualifying and only 7 of them, or 8. 7 or 8. I don't know if Elias Stromer is actually on track, because on the telemetry it says that he's on track, but I wasn't seeing him. Anyways, from 14 cars, only 8 will start the race. Yeah, now I'm seeing Elias Stromer also. That's pretty sad. But anyways, we should be focusing on the race start. The lights are out, the safety car is in, the lights are now on, and Alessandro has already shot it, and he has gone for start. Benefici is already trying to send one down inside in turn 1. He goes for it. Hopefully no contact between those two. Alessandro is keeping on the outside. Now Benefici will have the outside for turn 3, and Benefici just backs out, and that makes him lose another place. He's side by side there with Biasiotto. Biasiotto will try to send one of his center 4. They touched. They touched in our ball of race. 3 cars involved as Benefici, Francisco Biasiotto and Brent Puncari, all 3 of them in an incident, and that's a safety car. And Chris Van Ness is up in 3rd place. Yes, he is. Wow, that's unexpected. So just as I was saying, 1 incident and you can go up in 5th place, as Elias Stromer has gone from 8th to 5th after an incident. But wow, that's sad for Biasiotto, Fij, and Puncari. I think from what I've seen, Benefici had no fault in that incident. He has just been spun around, and we're now seeing the replay. Yes, Benefici could not avoid it, and the only Porsche that we've had, Brett Puncari, has also been involved in this incident without him being able to avoid it. So that's pretty sad for the Porsche driver. We're having the safety car out right now, with Alessandro Iso leading and Barrera Tato in 2nd place. So actually the only driver that was looking pretty close to Alessandro Iso, Benefici, is now down in 7th place. So that's show destroyed.
That is unfortunate. Watching that, I've watched it now. I'm going to continue to watch it. Francesco is he is alongside, and he is there for a little while. So that's definitely going to go to the stewards, that one, and that could be a few questions. Unlucky for Brett, which was just had to take avoiding action. He had really nowhere to go. But that he's fair. Francesco doesn't turn in as early as he doesn't hit the apex maybe, but I don't know. He's there, so there's going to be some questions asked.
Just as you've mentioned about stewards, the incident that we've just seen between cars 2, 9, and 35. So the incident that happened in turn 4 is now under investigation. So we might see some penalties being thrown out.
Yeah, he was alongside. I think there he had the right to. I don't know. He had some right to the room, but he also didn't make the apex, and so Benny did have to turn in at some point. So you can argue both drivers' case. Obviously, Brett, you can argue for the fact that he's completely innocent and it's unfair for him and all the rest. But I don't know how much damage he's got from that. Hopefully not much. But the safety car obviously brings him back into it. I think he's going to go into the pit lane now to fix his damage. If I'm not wrong, Brett is on the apron, so maybe. But yeah, I'm not sure how I'd call that one. But it is lap 1, so arguments for both sides of that coin.
I'm curious first, if you would be now a steward, would you penalize any of the drivers, or would you just leave as a racing incident?
Cool. Let's think. I could argue both cases I think it's a real 50-50. They're alongside each other, so both are entitled to the room, but neither technically own the corner. Well, you can argue that Benny's on the racing line. You can argue that Francesco's on the inside, so they both have the right to the corner. And they touch doors. It's not like a malicious one where he's launched up the inside or anything. So I'd go maybe racing incident, and maybe at the most a reprimand to both to warn them. But other than that, I don't know. They feel like it's punishment enough, obviously, going to the back of the grid, but I don't know. I feel more racing. I lean towards more racing incident than like a harsh penalty for either.
Yeah, first time that I've seen it on the live stream, I was thinking that it's all on Biasiotto because he was down inside and he took benefit out. But after seeing the replay, I started thinking also that it's a 50-50. So I wouldn't give a penalty to anyone, but I feel like it's 51% Biasiotto and 49 Fitch. So yeah, not by a lot, but it happens. Also, Brett Punkari is now in the pit lane. The other driver that was involved in this crash, obviously he just couldn't avoid it. He's not at all at fault for this one, so yep, that's pretty unfortunate for the Canadian driver. Anyways, safety car I think will be in this lap. He still has his lights on, but he has been... No, so the lights has gone off. So the safety car will come in at the end of the lap. Can Barratato actually put a bell onto Alessandro Iso? Will he be able to try and send one down the inside and maybe make this race interesting? Or will Alessandro Iso just go and run with the win? We will see. There's still a long way to go, so 55 minutes a lot can happen, especially with these GT3 cars. And we've seen in the first race and also in the second race, these things happens. Anyways, a note from the stewards, the incident between cars number 29 and 35, so the incident on lap 1 that also brought out the safety car. No further investigation, so no penalties will be given after the incident.
It's nice. I think that's right.
They're on the same page as you?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Cool.
I'll give them a fiver later for that one, I guess, for making me seem smart.
We have two BMWs in the first two positions, then a Ferrari, then a Lamborghini.
It's the first time this season that it's not a Ferrari or a Porsche. It's the first time a Beamer's been anywhere near the top 5.
Yeah, but last time we've seen Luca Wunsch winning with an Audi, so...
Oh yes, it was an Audi, wasn't it? Not what I say, Ferrari? Yeah. Yeah, it was an Audi, wasn't it?
Yep, anyways, the safety car will come in, so only 2 corners to go for safety car until it will go into the pit lane and we'll go back to green. So let's see what strategy will Iso take. Will he go and press the gas early, or will he wait for everyone as we see in Formula 1? Interesting to see. So here we go. Safety car is in. Alessandro Iso, we're seeing him flashing, and he's just pressed the pedal to the metal and has gone for it.
I was about to ask you go before the chicane or after. He chose way before.
But the Barratato is very close. He's still putting the pressure up. Let's see. He's very close there, and this is his chance because Alessandro Iso is very fast, so he should think about a move as soon as possible if he wants to put his bell up. But I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, and we'll have a battle for the entirety of the race. Barratato, we're now going to turn 6, now 7, and then we'll go to 8, and then we'll have the first part of the oval. Barratato up the slipstream in turns 9 and 10. Can he get close to the Italian driver? Doesn't look like it.
Pretty close to P5 here. They're about to go side by side. Well, they are now side by side for P6. They're 3 wide now. That's not good. Who's backing out? Everybody. Benny's made it. Benny's made a move. He's going to get 2 cars in one corner. He is.
Yep. I think Garcia just let Benefich go because he cut the corner, and the penalty is much worse than losing a place now. He's also letting Biasiotto through.
Yeah, I think he's letting them all go through cutting the... He may have a slowdown, I'll be surprised, maybe, but he has let him go and he's back going, so he's just decided to rejoin the back of the queue there.
So we're now watching Jesse Garcia, the driver that everyone goes through. The gap, I don't know what's happening in the front because I'm not seeing the gap, but on the map, it doesn't look like it's a big gap between the first two drivers. We're now watching Brett Concari in his quest to overtake.
The gap at the front is just over a second, so the gap has extended.
Brett Concari very close to Biasiotto now. Hard to overtake. It's track that is very hard to overtake. I don't think we talked about this very much, but
No, we haven't.
besides turn one, you don't really have many chances. You might just go. There's also the chance in turn 11, but again, it's hard. It's not easy to overtake there because you can just put your nose and then go into a spin. So, you know, this is like a Monaco a little bit wider. Anyways, I would love to see, just talking about Monaco, I would love to see a race with GT3s on that track. I think it would make just a beautiful look overall.
Beautiful look, but pretty boring race. I think it'd be like a Sunday in London, or on the motorway, lots of traffic. Or what is the other track they do? These street circuits, Macau. That's a big one for GT racing they do there, and that is insane. But that's obviously a lot longer than Monaco, but still a street circuit. Very expensive crashes there. Quite tricky. These cars actually, I think, are actually maybe thinner than F1 cars these days. F1 cars, cover like a 2-meter ground surface area. They're quite wide. They're like an SUV compared to a GT, so they're slightly bigger of this thing. So I guess if F1 can race there, why can't GTs?
Yeah, the Macau track that GTs are racing, it's always a big event, and as you've mentioned, there are always big crashes and very, very pricey for the teams. And I've just watched this morning a video and a highlight of the race, and I think in 2019 there was about a 10-car pileup, and that's an expensive one. But yeah, that would make an interesting league race. But again, it's hard to overtake. But you've mentioned about Monte Carlo, Monaco being a boring race. Hopefully this will not be the same, but it looks like the gaps are getting big between every driver.
Streamer Chungus just said that F1 cars are bigger than a Defender. It's mad, and I agree, that is madness. Who would jump in a Defender and think, I would jump in a Defender and think, let's race that. But normally off-road, I wouldn't really think to race that around, like, Suzuka or something. Just off the top of my head if we did that the other day. But yet, they're massive cars. Make them smaller again. Make them smaller, then they'll be harder to drive. Yeah, we all know Formula Vs are difficult to drive, but they're great fun.
2022 is going to be a different season for Formula 1. Then we'll have smaller cars, so,
How, are they making them smaller, though? Are they smaller now for 2022, or they just got rid of all the aero?
I think they are smaller. If I'm not wrong, they are going back to the 2016 sides when the cars were smaller. But again, we'll see if that's going to help racing or not. I mean, we've seen this year in 2021, I think, obviously I'm time biased, but it has been one of the best seasons in the history. So, I don't know if any car can beat this season, but again, hopefully I'm wrong and we'll see an even better season overall. Anyways, coming back to our race, we're seeing Brett Concari chasing down Francisco Biasiotto. The two drivers have.
Which admittedly is surprising me here. That I honestly thought that Francesco was about to pass him, drive away. Nope, completely opposite. Brett is on the back of him and pushing him.
Yeah, but Benny Fitch, Biasiotto, and also Brett Concari have been the drivers that have been involved in that crash at the start, and you're obviously expecting them to come back because they have been the third, fourth, and fifth fastest drivers, and now they are not faster by a lot than the drivers in front of them. But again, we're seeing the gaps are not so big between these drivers, Fiji, Soto, and Bukhari, but no overtakes. I don't know if they're just backing out because they are not wanting to risk anything, or are they thinking about strategy, or is just too hard to overtake. And obviously we are only 15 minutes in the race and it's still a long way to go, but yeah.
I think it's just placed to overtake. How many heavy... There's not much... Obviously, overtaking normally happens in heavy braking zones. I don't feel like there's loads of heavy braking zones at the circuit. Off the top of my head, there's not. There maybe into the chicane, but then you've got to be fully alongside to commit. There's Benny's made a mistake!
Oh, he's in the wall. Benny Fiji's in the wall, and that's another mistake. That's another mistake for the German driver. I think his profile picture just sums it up on what happened. And yeah, he just lost the back end on his own, and he touched a little bit of wall. I don't think that's a lot of damage for him. He just carries on. That's Jose Garcia in the pit lane now. Now, Brett Bunkari chasing down Francesco Biasiolo. He lost it too. He lost it too. What's going on? And he's going straight to the pit lane. But I'm watching the replay again. At the back of Biasiotto, a little bit too happy on the troll, and he just lost the backhand, hit a wall, straight back to the pit lane. I don't know what's going on with the drivers.
I'm not sure if he lost on the brakes there, because his rear brakes were quite hot going through that corner. I'm not sure if he leant on the brake pedal slightly and I don't know. He lost it. Maybe not on the brakes. Maybe not.
He's out of the race, and there's someone cutting the chicane again. Who was there? I think that was Elias Stromer. Cutting the wall. I'm not sure, but as it looks like, it was Elias Stromer. Yes, he was a German driver. He just straight. Did he got? It's a strange mistake. Because he braked all right and then he just gone straight. Anyway, sadly only 7 cars on track now, with Alessandro Iso running away with the victory, and the gap between 3rd and 4th is pretty big.
You know, the Brett issue there, I think, was just some oversteer mid corner, and he couldn't save it in time to get ready for the next one as the two corners sort of combined. So that was what happened there. Just lost the rear end. Benny's one, he doesn't touch the curb much. He doesn't hit the big curb, so I'm not sure why the car got so unsettled there.
Yeah, but obviously, as you've mentioned, the Elias incident, obviously, rather than crashing with a wall, you just go straight, and you know, you get a slowdown, and then you can continue the race. But these slowdowns are very harsh. Like we've seen Elias losing not only the position, but a lot of time to Biasiotto. Biasiotto is now back in 4th place. Obviously, he's had the crash at the start, but then he came back, he recovered a lot, and now we're seeing Elias going into the pit lane. I don't know if this is a scheduled pit stop or if he's just trying a different strategy. As you've mentioned, Wes, at the start of the stream, we should be having 2 pit stops, but we're only 17 minutes into the race out of the 60 that we will be racing. So I don't know what strategy will the drivers take. We're now watching Chris Van Den Ness. Outside.
It's just fuel for Elias, 13 seconds in the pit stops. And the average, I think, normally I've noticed from the season so far is 14. So that seems about right.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about Chris Van Den Ness. You know, hasn't been involved in any incident. He had a clear race, and look, he's up into 3rd place. So this is what I was saying when Jared was talking about Charlie Lord not starting the race, and also Crofty not starting the race. You know, some incidents and you can get a podium. You just need to be as calm as possible. But I thought of fastest lap of the race, I think that has gone under the radar. but the gap is pretty big between the first two drivers. Okay, got it. Anyway, Wes, we've had now we're having a night race. So and we've had 3 races in night, four night races in Formula One. So I'm wondering, what do you think about night racing in Formula One? Like, should we have more night racing, or is it just okay as it is? Because from my point of view, night racing is beautiful in any competition, and it just gives that amazing look. And I'm comparing it to Champions League. You know, the matches are always in the night, and I feel like it gives that nice look to Formula One.
Is there 4? Is there what? So Singapore, Qatar,
No,
Abu
I'm
Dhabi,
just talking.
Bahrain.
I'm just talking about this season, and I think
Ah.
we've had
Yeah.
Saudi, Bahrain, Qatar, and Yas Marina.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah. I think all the tracks that make it so it's not in European time frame should definitely do it in the night, because then it makes it European night time. I think that works perfectly. I think that's how we should do it. Because it means like people from England don't have to get up any earlier or stay up later. I think so. When they go to America next time, just do it. Well, actually, it doesn't work, does it? If they go to America, we're gonna have to do it. They have to do it super early in the morning, wouldn't they? Actually,
Is Formula One not going to Miami next season?
they are, aren't they? Yeah. Is that
Yeah.
what time would that be? That's gonna be like 9 o'clock for us, isn't it? If they do it during the day. If they did it at
Yeah.
night, that's gonna be like 1 in the morning. So maybe not America.
Yeah, I remember when I was smaller and there was MotoGP going to Laguna Seca. The race was Romanian time. That was 1 in the morning, and obviously I couldn't watch it. And I was very, very passionate about MotoGP, and I was very angry that my parents weren't letting me to watch it. And I was like, "Oh my god, why can't I watch it?" And I was, so these time zones are pretty bad, but yeah, I feel like it's once in a year. The Americans deserve it. No.
Yeah, I think any track that can do night racing and it works for them, obviously it has to work for TV schedules and all the rest of it. If it works, it works. I like the tracks that are in all the deserts and the Saudi Arabia countries and so on. Those that works perfectly. That makes complete sense. Do it at night. Tires, the track temp's cooler and all that. It makes complete sense for everybody. And yeah, it does look absolutely fantastic having the night lights on. I don't know what other circuits could do it.
Silverstone, I think
Silverstone do have. They have a thing where you can drive around Silverstone for the Winter Wonderland stuff, which is pretty cool. And they have a light show on and all the rest of it. But they do 24-hour racing there, don't they? I am not wrong about that. So maybe they could do some sort of night. Cool. But then again, they do have a noise. The thing in England is that with the noise, you only have a certain amount of days as a racetrack a year where you're allowed to go a certain amount of noise, and especially over a certain time frame, past 6 p.m. So in the UK, the issue would be sorting out the track to be allowed to go over 6 p.m. with the noise that they'd have.
Yeah, I have.
So that would be the only. But other tracks could do it. I don't see why not. I like it. I think any racing in the dark looks awesome. Le Mans always looks awesome every year. Abu Dhabi, when they first said we're going to do night to day, was awesome. And then Singapore came along, and now it's just. There was a time where we didn't have that, and now we have, as you said, 4 races this season where we had it. And yeah, it's awesome. I think the photos look great. You can see everything really clearly. It's cool. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, you were talking about Silverstone 24 hours, so I've just searched about it. Actually, it has been a competition that has been around between 2005 and 2018, and since then it hasn't been run anymore. And last time it was won by Seat with their TCR race. So yeah, there actually is a Silverstone 24 hours. So yep, interesting to see. You were talking about the transition from day to night. We're now seeing here at the race transition from night to day, and I'm just trying to imagine this happening in real life in a 1 hour race. Just starting at 5 a.m. and then going to a day race.
That's what the Americans should do for us for the F1. Start at like 5 in the morning. Because for us, it'll be like 2 in the afternoon, and then they should race into the day. I think that would work perfectly.
Yeah, I was just thinking before starting this stream, I was thinking about the GT3 cars and how they have been spread around not only Europe but the entire world. Like in my mind, it just popped up DTM and the fact that they were having some cars that were actually classic and they were very beautiful to look at it. Obviously, the BMW M4 DTM, which was an incredible car. Like I also have it in a diecast model. I just love that car. But right now they are using GT3 cars. Obviously, they're using them because not many manufacturers are willing to join the competition with that much cost of creating a completely new car. But again, GT3 has just gone over the world.
Yeah, DTM have survived by moving to GT because it's good. I think it's good for obviously GT racing, not mostly endurance. So if you want to watch it, you have to enjoy endurance. Not everybody does. Some people do. I like it, but I must admit I don't watch a lot of it. But
Oh,
with
there
the
was a car in the wall.
DTM, I think it's Jose Garcia. With the GT racing in DTM, it worked perfectly because it was it? It's under a sprint format, isn't it? And here we go. We're going to see the incident now. Too much curb? Yeah, quite a bit of curb. That's quite a heavy hit too.
That's hefty damage. That's a lot of damage. Yeah, anyways, talking about DTM, they had some big names this year. Like, if I'm not wrong, René Rast, the champion, and also Alexander Albon and Liam Lawson from Formula 2, they have attracted some big names, which is surprising for
And the cars look
DTM.
fantastic too. They all really looked really good. It was good. It was definitely, it's worked perfectly for DTM, and I can't wait to see what they do this year. I don't know if the Alex Albon obviously is not going to go back, and I don't think Liam Lawson is, but I do think they have got good interest, and it's good publicity, and they've done really well with the media. So I'm not sure what if. I think I've seen someone about some people entering with a Porsche or whatever. It'd be good to see if they can add a few more manufacturers too. It'd be good. But yeah, it's good. It was worked. It was good. They had to abandon, the traditional German, because they are, German touring cars at the end of the day is what the DTM is, but obviously transitioning over to GT3s was quite a smart step for them. I'm not sure if they'll ever go back, but they ran out of support from major manufacturers.
Yeah, and you were talking about Liam Lawson and him not coming back. He was very, very close of becoming world champion, and taking into consideration that he's also racing in Formula 2, that was an amazing performance. He has come very close. He was leading the championship before Nürburgring, and then he lost the championship by not being qualified in the second race of Nürburgring, while Maximilian Giotz, the driver who actually won the title, has won both races there at Nürburgring. So, it was an incredible performance. And also taking in consideration again that he was racing in Formula 2 and he's only 19 years of age, I think it just makes of an amazing driver for the future. Meanwhile, there is an overtake. Chris Van der Ness overtook.
Estefano's pitted.
Oh, he's pitted.
Interesting. First of the pit stops, other than actually Elias, as we saw earlier. Yeah, it's fascinating that DTM had to do that, because obviously British touring cars is now going over to a hybrid era for its touring cars, but they didn't. Obviously, they've still got manufacturers involved, but they've got a whole program with Toka and stuff, so they're all fine moving over to hybrid. So they haven't had to go that route of GT racing, because obviously in England we have the GT series anyway, so it wouldn't survive. So the fact that DTM were able to survive that way is really good for them, because no one really wants to lose that. It would be like losing the V8s for Australia, for example. You just can't lose that, because growing up as a kid, England we had British touring cars. Germany we knew had DTM. Then you had V8 supercars in Australia. You had, those were your big ones, and then you had the WTCC, the World Touring Car Championship, which if anyone ever has watched it the most, you want to think F1's biased and a bit cheating sometimes. Oh my god. I remember watching a race once where the commentators lost it. They absolutely lost it. There was a penalty for against Robert Huff, I think, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
And
I remember.
it was ridiculous. And the commentators were just slamming it. And I was watching the race thinking, well, I'm never watching this again then, because you could just see how biased it was. And I was just like, it's horrible. And I was like, oh, this is meant to be the World Series. It's like, okay, cool, right. I've learned a lot there as a kid, but yeah, you were certain. I don't even know if that's still a thing. I think are they now electric, the World Touring Car Series? Maybe I don't.
No, they're not. Like
They're not, no.
VTCC doesn't exist anymore. Now it's called WTCR, and they have partnered up. They have partnered up with TCR, and it has become only one competition. But again, I was watching a lot when I was a kid. Now, when they switched up to WTCR, and again, it's not streamed in Romania anymore, so I'm not really into that.
Yeah, it doesn't really get much coverage, does it?
Yeah, but I think one of the incredible things that are happening there is the fact that drivers are going on for such a long time. Like Ivan Muller, the driver who has won, I think, 8 titles in WTCC, is still racing, and he's 52 years of age, and he's still getting good results. If I'm not wrong, and let me check. Last season, he was in the standings. He was 4th in the standings at 52 years of age.
Oh, everyone's pitting. Here we go. Everyone I know at the front are pitting. Yeah, that name rings a big bell, that one. And you said that. I was like, yeah, I know that name. Cool. Yeah, there's always the same people in that championship. I must notice. Who's the Dutch driver that loves social media? What's his name again?
Tom Coronel.
Yeah, that guy that adds everyone on Twitter. I've been added by him, followed on Twitter by him about 4 times in my life.
Yeah, I remember
Fantastic.
at one point I've had one designs page. I was designing racing cars, and I was posting them on Instagram, and it was called Edward Designs, and Tom Coronel was following me there. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. I wanted to ask him if he wanted a livery, but I was a kid, so that obviously didn't happen. We're talking about Liam Lawson and him going into DTM, and at only 19 years of age, being close to the title and also making Formula 2. And talking about young, incredible drivers, obviously in my mind pops up Oscar Piastri and also Nick De Vries. Oscar Piastri and Nick De Vries both won the Formula 2 championship. Oscar Piastri won, if I'm not wrong, 4 consecutive Formula titles, and he's not in Formula 1. Neither Nick De Vries won Formula E after winning the Formula 2 championship. So again, it's extremely, from my point of view, bad that Formula 1 doesn't give these seats to incredible young drivers.
Oh, it's whoever's got the biggest bank account. As long as you've got an okay amount of talent or in good enough, but you're absolutely loaded, you've got it. But that's the rules. Yeah, those two alone, obviously, they've both got a decent amount of sponsorship and they've got a lot of money anyway. So you've got to imagine how much money other people must have for those two not to get their seats with the amount of talent they also come with. And just the results they've come with. Their resumes, as you said, fantastic. Why wouldn't you? If I had a car, well, I do have a car, if I had a spare car, I'd put one of them in it. It's as simple, you just would. But apparently not. It's motorsport is an expensive sport, and is the way to pay for that is to have drivers with money. That's always a good way to go, sadly. But that's how it's always been, though, in racing. Obviously, GT have their the gentleman class or whatever they have, which fit well. But Formula 1 should be for the best drivers. It's not. It's where the rich play. You know what I mean? That's how it works with racing, sadly.
Yeah, but one of the drivers that are obviously paid drivers and have been one of the most hated drivers when joining the Formula 1 grid has been Lance Stroll, and I don't know if he has proven himself, but for me he has proven that he has talent.
Yes.
But anyways, we should talk about this later because we're finally seeing a bell. Chris Van Ness is close to Barrera Tato, going in lap 24, I think we are.
Yep. We are, yeah, you're right, we are.
And Chris Van Ness is dropping back. Oh.
He's close, he's still close.
Yeah, but we've seen this race, Wes. It's not going to happen.
Unless he just launches it, you never know. He could launch it from far back.
Yeah, I'm
But
just wondering. I'm just wondering what's going on in the driver's mind. Like, seeing that the gap between every single driver is so big. Like, are you not thinking about sending one down the inside, or
there's not enough braking zones for it. To be fair, Chris is in his natural position of third place, so he'll be happy there.
Yeah.
Um,
I was once watching Lando Norris Twitch stream. Like, I'm sure most of you know that Lando Norris also does Twitch streams, and he was saying that when he's racing in iRacing and there's a race of this type, he just gets bored and quits the race mid race. So hopefully we'll not see something like that today. But
I'm surprised he doesn't do it in Formula 1, to be honest. I'm surprised he doesn't go, oh, well, I'm not catching the Mercedes, might as well park it, you know.
oh, that happened in Spa 2019. He parked it, obviously. He wasn't got bored, but yeah, that was a heartbreaking moment. Just seeing him crying over the radio. Obviously, he's had another emotional moment in Sochi 2021 this year, where he lost the win.
That's why you should listen to your pit crew and pit.
Yeah, but
Turns out the people with the radars know best, you know.
he's
Shocking to find that one out.
he's 23 or 24 years of age. Anyways, he's very young. He still has his career ahead of him. But when you are feeling the win, when you are in first place, and you are, obviously, I know, like, I can feel him. I know why he wanted to stay out. He's seen Lewis Hamilton pitting and him having a 20-second advantage, and he was like, okay, if rain comes, I still have 20 seconds margin where I can go slower and avoid any mistakes. But yeah, the rain was just too heavy, and he finished about 7th, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, sad, heartbreaking, but I can understand him.
Oh, he had slicks on. As soon as it rains, you got to pit because you're gonna lose time on you. If he was on a tire with a groove, stay out. But as he had no groove at all, and they said the rain was going to get worse, I get staying out and risking it. But for all the glory, I guess you got to have that fight to live another day on your head at the same time. But he wanted the win. He went for it, and he can't say he didn't try at least. So he can live with that, I guess, rather than pitting and saying, well, I shouldn't have. Rather, staying out is probably an easier option to deal with in your head.
Yeah, anyways, we're talking about tires with groove on it, and obviously I remember the Formula E tires that are both for rain and slicks.
Yes.
They are absolutely mad to think about. But I don't know, I don't understand what's their thinking behind it, because, obviously it would make such a difference with the slick tires.
Well, the reason for that is because in Formula E the first season, obviously they had to swap cars, so it made more sense just to have a tyre that could deal with if it did start raining. They didn't have to worry about swapping 8 tyres on cars and everything. As it's quite close between Elias now for P4. He's got a little bit of a run on. He's got quite a big run actually here. He's going to go to the outside. We've turned into watching some oval racing here as they're going side by side on the banking. That's going to be the inside for the chicane, if I'm not wrong. If he breaks in time, makes it, and that is a move done, and he survives the curbs. Elias up to P4.
Finally, one overtake. Wow,
Lovely.
we've waited for this about 20 minutes, Wes.
Yeah, and actually, it came from Elias, which, no offense, didn't expect. He's actually caught Francesco down there and passed him. Elias being the first, I believe, to pit, and I've just noticed everybody else in the pit box were in there for 17 seconds and 18. So Elias has less fuel than everyone and pitted earlier. But he's definitely running with less fuel on board at the moment, so that could be a reason for his advantage. I don't want to take anything away from him, but he will have to pit sooner than the rest, as Benny's now going to try and get involved. But yeah, the tyres like that were, so I didn't have to worry about it. Plus, on everyday cars, you have road tyres, you have intermediates, you can survive the rain. So it was also another way of making the series unique and also customer friendly. Plus Michelin, what's the point of making slick tyres and look, we're a very good tyre manufacturer when no average person is ever going to buy slicks?
That's a pit stop from Biasiotto. Benefici was chasing him down and it was very close. There's a pit stop for there's a pit stop for Biasiotto. He's going in.
So it made sense from a tyre standpoint for Michelin to provide the tyre because it's good sponsorship. Plus, if anyone wants to buy a tyre that works for rain and road, so an intermediate for the road, they know that Michelin supplies the tyres for Formula E, so it works well as a marketing standpoint for them.
Yeah, I've never actually seen it from this perspective.
And of course, when it rains in Formula E, it's only rained. Technically, it's only ever had, I think, if I'm not wrong, I think it's 2 official wet races.
Yeah, and they were crazy.
And one of them, it was Paris, and it started raining halfway through. And honestly, that was awesome. The other one, where was the other one? It wasn't Rome, was it? No, it wasn't Rome. Where was it?
Was London?
Was it London? Or did... Well, London, if I'm not wrong, it had finished raining.
No, that was in Rome.
It was Rome, wasn't it? Rome was wet. London, it started raining as soon as they finished the race, which was the circuit where it's inside and outside. And oh my god, that would have been so much cooler if they just delayed the race by an hour and they raced in. Oh, that would have been so cool. So difficult, but so cool. But yeah, I think if I'm not wrong, it's France and Rome where they've had the wet races. And they're awesome. They're absolutely awesome. They're fantastic. And there's no, pit stop. You just got to learn on the go and hope, because you can't do what you do in Formula 1 when you pit for tyres and you try and gain an advantage that way by, getting fresher rubber or full wets instead of inters. You just have to deal with the tyres you've got.
Yeah, but, talking about tires and changing tires when rain comes, in MotoGP, there are 2 smaller classes. I don't know if you know them. There are Moto2 and Moto3. And obviously in MotoGP, when the rain starts, riders go into the pit lane and they jump from one bike to another. I don't know if you've ever watched it, but it's very funny seeing drivers. They're literally jumping from one motorcycle to the other. Anyways, in Moto2 and Moto3, when rain comes, the race is being red flagged. Everyone changed tires and then they're going back racing.
Oh, really?
I know. Yeah. I don't know how good that will be for Formula E because it's obviously delaying a lot the schedule, but there might be an idea for better performance. But again, I don't know how.
I think that kills the tension, because rain, oh my god, rain is the best thing ever to see at a racetrack. Because as soon as you do that, it's like, oh my god, it's equal, here we go. Like, what's about to happen? But if you just call a red flag as soon as it rained, it'd be like living in America.
Anyways, we're seeing a bell for second place. We should be concentrating on this one because, boy, we didn't have this today.
It's not a dig at America, I just want to say that. That's not a dig, it's just it's what they do. As soon as it rains in NASCAR, nope, can't race. Pretty soon, as soon as it rains when they're trying to play football or something, no, we can't do that now.
Yeah, I'm curious what you think about Formula E in general. Because we've had a lot of manufacturers join in, but they're slowly leaving the competition, and I feel like they have reached the peak of the competition a little bit too early. Like, there's nothing they can add right now to make the competition
they've still got the most manufacturers, so I think it's fine. Mercedes leaving, and then that, oh well, I don't care enough about them leaving. And I think Porsche leaving too, was it? Or no, it's Audi, isn't it? Audi and Mercedes that are leaving, and I'm like, okay, cool, whatever, yeah, that makes sense, but cool, they'll leave, and then they'll be replaced by someone anyway, so it'll be fine. But they have said that I believe it was Porsche have asked if next time for the Gen 4 car, because they're now going to the Gen 3 car, but for the Gen 4 car, they now want the possibility of modifying the battery and upgrading it. Because obviously everybody has the same battery and all that lark. Porsche now want them to start allowing teams to upgrade it. So then that would invite more manufacturers back, because obviously everybody has to work out how to make the battery best for a road car. So that's the only way Formula E will be able to do that. And also someone's discussed about they could do hydrogen as well if they wanted to, because obviously they have the rights to single seaters for their electric cars for the next 25 years or whatever it is. So they can play whatever card they want to play to get the manufacturer. So they have all the cards. So they've got no problem. They can talk to any manufacturer they want and be like, right, what do you want us to do? And then see what brings the most back. Here we go then. Do we have Chris? So Chris is now caught back up to second place. He won't pass him because he finishes third every single race. So I'll be surprised if he wants to finish any higher than that.
Let's see, we're now going to turn 4, but the gap is pretty big. There is a lapped car there, or is that Alessandro Iso ahead of them? I think there was a car. Hopefully, I'm not that.
It's also the smallest gap to the leader as well. It's only 2 seconds. Last couple of races.
Yeah, so that was Alessandro Iso.
Yeah, it's quite not. He's only just it's just down the road. He is, so he's quite close.
Maybe he also got bored and just gone a little bit slower.
You didn't want to run away too far. If he makes a mistake in the chicane, they're on him.
Yeah, but again, laps are going by, no moves. Maybe now 13, 14, flat out on slipstream. I'm just wondering what is going on in drivers' minds. Just having these kind of race.
Well, Chris is waiting for a mistake. But you've got a little one there from Estado. Chris is definitely thinking past.
Sorry for interrupting, but Paratato recovered half a second in the last lap to the leader. What's going on? I'm really curious. I can't wait for the post-race interviews to talk to these drivers, because I'm very curious what are they thinking while racing here. Chris Van Ness is now putting the pressure up to Barrera again. Now through the bankings, turns 9 and 10 now. The other side of the oval, and he's now on slipstream. He's very close. He's very close. Will he send one on the inside in turn 11? No, he doesn't. He just backs out, waits for the next slipstream zone, and that's turns 13 and 14. It's very hard to overtake in the last chicane before the finish line. Maybe he thinks about it, but obviously it's hard over the year. Now, lap number 34, turn 1. Is there a possibility? No, it's not. Maybe he's just waiting for a mistake from his opponent.
A little wide there. I don't know. He's definitely been staring at this back of this Beamer for a while now, and he knows the exact. He could probably paint the back of that Beamer with his eyes closed. The way he's been looking at it.
Maybe he's just, again, as I've said, waiting for a mistake from his opponent. Not risking anything. I don't know if they will do another pit stop, because we're only 13 minutes away from the end of the race. I think they might, because a race should be done with 2 pit stops. But we'll see what strategies will drivers apply. They have closed up the gap even more to Alessandro Iso, I think.
They have again, yeah, you're right.
So we might see a 3-way bell for the win. Oh boy, that would be amazing for our race we've had so far. I don't know if it's just me, but looking at these races, it gives me a lot of Cars the movie vibes. I don't know if you've ever watched that.
Is that because it's in... What reason is that for? Is that because it's an oval, or because...
Yeah, because an oval, and also the outside of the track and the sponsors and the way it looks.
Yeah, one of the best films in the world, the car film.
Yeah. I've just seen a tweet this morning from someone I don't really remember from who, and he was saying something like, Formula 1 is gone, now I'm watching Cars.
Yeah,
so,
when I go to the racetrack, the night of the races sometimes, or when I sit in the car, I just put the Cars film on. The big intro to the Cars film, I like to do that. I like to sit in because I race a Mini, so I like to sit in the Mini and just put the intro to the Cars film on. You know that whole, when they're doing the all the cars going round and he does the little ka-chow bit, just that bit, that's all I need.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say about the song, the theme song from at the start of the movie. you know, when McQueen goes out of the track. Yeah, absolute banger.
Oh, what the well, Life is a Highway, that one?
I think I'm not really sure.
I think it's Life is a Highway. Yeah, that's also that's a as you quoted that per banger. We have 3 cars now within a second, but yes, that song banger.
Is something happening to Alessandro Iso, or is he purposely going slower?
Is he
I don't
saving
know.
fuel? His lap
Yeah,
times have gone slower because these two are doing constant 17 zeros, and he is now doing a 17.5, I believe. So is he? Actually, that last lap, I'm wrong. He did a 7. Actually, he was all right, but yeah, they're going slower than their best by a while. So is he saving fuel? We've got 10 minutes to go.
is he going for the one stop?
Oh, yeah, that is a good question. We haven't seen that yet this season. Obviously, shorter track than the other two by a while. And look at that, they are
It's very
on
close.
the back of him.
Barrera Tato is very close to Alessandro Iso and will now go down his side. Only
Yes, he's going for the one stop, isn't he?
What's happening to Alessandro Iso? Is very slow. Alessandro Iso from the lead of race. He's going very slow. He's now down in 3rd place. This he ran out of fuel.
He's still going. He's definitely not hitting it again.
Now Chris Van Der Ness is very close to the leader. Let's see. We should be watching that because now I'm sure he sees the situation completely different because he's now battling for the win, not for 2nd place anymore. So we might see for the first time this season Chris not finishing 3rd.
I do think he's so if he's going for a one stop, and these two aren't, I don't know because it's 10 minutes left. Sure, they normally would have pitted by now. No, they normally would have way pitted long before this. But Elias has done. He's already pitted 2 times, and he's gone 6 stints. 6 laps into his stint, so he pitted a while ago. But then he did pit early, so
Very
we could
close.
have another pit stop.
It's very close. Chris Van Der Ness is very close.
As fellow's going to
And
pit.
there's someone pitting. This Barrera Tato pit.
Interesting.
So Alessandro Iso, by the looks of it, will go to the end.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. He's got to, because he didn't just slow down to let them through. He didn't attack them or nothing. He just waited.
Benny Fitch has set of 1.08. Or I'm not seeing right.
Estefano still in the pits, still in the pits, still in the pits. He's not changed the... Oh, he's still in the pits. Oh, this is a long pit stop.
Is he changing tires? He might be. He's now in 5th place.
He's still in the
Barrera
pit.
Tato got Barrera Tato got lapped? No, not yet. But he's still in the pit. What's going on?
Okay, him on the accelerator. He's going now, so don't know what's happened there to... That's 48.5 seconds. Unless he's changed... I didn't see him change his tyres, but he's got to have. Unless he's had damage from hitting something and it cost him 30 seconds. But he's only just come out of the pits. He's nearly a lap down now from that.
So Chris Van Der Ness from 3rd place is now leading the race, and with 8 minutes to go, he might go for the win. We might see out of this race who at one point was looking like it's going to go to a very boring win for Alessandro Iso, is now having a little bit of drama. I'm wondering what was the strategy of Alessandro Iso. Come back to the end of the race? Or is this...
I don't know what they're doing with the fuel here. I really don't know. And I don't know, because if he's now doing lap times to conserve his fuel, and he's matching Chris. Has Chris been doing fuel saving the entire time as well? Surely not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So Chris Van Ness might run out of fuel at this
He
rate.
was in the pit stops for 6 tenths longer, but obviously, I just want to remind everybody that the BMWs and every car has its own size fuel tank. Can't all the same but the Ferrari. So is the Ferrari the smallest? Ferrari's smallest, and he was in there for the longest. And obviously you can put 40% in. Obviously you can put less if you want, but you're limited to it. Interesting. So if it's the smallest, I'd like to think that Chris can't do one stop. But if that's the case, he is pulling away, and we only have about 5 minutes to go. How? Right, 5 minutes to go. That's what, 3-4 laps, roughly. If he was in the car now as he is, you would be working that out as you're driving. Can I just save some extra fuel and not pit? Because he definitely knows that Alessandro behind him, that's what he's doing. So
That one is very risky. Like, what if Chris Van Ness just runs out of fuel?
you risk it though, don't you? Right now,
Oh, he's going in.
he's pitting, he doesn't risk it. I would have thought he
No.
would have risked it.
So, I think there's something. Stefano had to serve a 40-second hold due to speeding in the pit lane, so that's drama.
So that's why if you're Chris, you do pick, you might as well. But I would have thought, as he was leading, he may not have had the right amount of fuel to try and risk the one stop, but yeah, that settles him for second place 100%, because there's no way he's going to close up the gap back to. It's going to be like a 30-second gap now back to Alessandro, and there's no way he's going to do that unless Alessandro ran out. So he's only on stop in this for 6.7, so he's not even put. Benny's pitted with him as well. Benny's on a 3 point. He's actually done an extra pit stop at some point for a 5.6. So they've both put just enough to get to the end of the race to limit the amount of time they lose to Alessandro here. 20 seconds.
We just got the information that Alessandro is trying to fuel save, and I quote, massively, and he could make it potentially. Only 4 minutes to go. Oh, this is going to be interesting. We might see a car just not ending the race because of fuel. And look how much he's lifting. And look at the revs. He's not going on the red revs. Now he's gone, but oh, drama at its finest. Wes, I'm wondering if.
Oh my god, yeah, he's lifting off loads, isn't he? I'm just sitting on board listening to it, and he's just not.
Well, if Barretta had to serve a 40-second penalty and he has been in the pit lane for 48 seconds, so that means he has put only 8 seconds fuel. So that was just a quick flash and dash, and he has gone.
Yeah, he's also done a quick one. Same with Benny and Chris. So they're flying to try and catch up now. They've got 18 seconds to catch up with 3.5 to go.
That's a lot.
And also hard to fuel save when you've got to do 2 oval corners. He's out! He's out of fuel, isn't he? Oh god, he's not. Oh, it just sounded like he turned his car off there completely. I was like, there's no noise.
Yeah, if I'm not wrong, if you run out of fuel, you just have to tow back. There's no other way.
Can you turn your car off in a straight line? I thought you can, can't you? You can hit the switch, yeah. That's what he's doing. He's completely off everything going into that last chicane. He's not on any power.
2 minutes. 2 minutes, West.
And
so
again,
we have 2 laps to go, and Alessandro Izzo needs to save only 2 more laps of fuel.
How much are they catching? Are they catching at all? Into every single corner, it's just silence in that car. He's driving an electric BMW now. 16.5 they did. They're about a second and a bit.
Slow. He's very slow. What are his lap times? I'm not seeing them.
117.8, I think.
So that means that Chris is recovering 9 seconds per lap. So that's clearly not enough. So this is Alessandro's win. He will lose it only if he runs out of fuel. Otherwise, Chris will not recover.
He's using the track perfectly. He literally just went up the track to allow the track to give him more momentum off of this corner.
I'm just reading the chat from the stewards, and there are people saying, oh man, he's lifting and coasting massively. So this is a surprise to literally everyone. What Alessandro is trying to do. I don't understand why is he doing this though. Because he was leading the race, he could have beat it twice easily. Maybe he got scared that Chris will do the same strategy that he's doing right now, and this is the only winning strategy.
Maybe he just thinks it's quicker.
Last lap. The last lap
Yeah.
was he might make it. He
Last
might
lap.
just make it. Oh, just got information. We have one more lap after this.
Oh, that's not good for him. If you were him, wouldn't you just slow? Oh no, he doesn't have enough time to slow down, does he? Oh, he can't cut the laps any shorter. They're not going fast enough to catch him up, are they?
Oh, I cannot stand on my chair right now. This is incredible. From what has been a... So we got a white flag. This means the last lap?
Yeah.
Yep, so it's going in the race. It's going to make it.
I'd love to be able to see the fuel gauge for him, but I can't. And
Wait,
it's sad.
he's in turns 13 and 14. Last half of the oval. He's going to make it. Hopefully. We were talking about cars. We remember in cars that Lightning McQueen was going on 3 wheels. Alessandro Isale made something like that, coasting and lifting every corner, and he comes shoot to win. Great! At Charlotte, absolutely incredible! Absolutely incredible by the Italian driver. This is something, oh, that I have never seen in my life. Chris Van Ness finally doesn't finish third. He's in second place. Benny Fidge, after the drama at the start, he will come through to finish third. Elias Stromer is now in fourth place. And Barrera Tato, who has been leading the race at one point, will only finish fifth. That speeding in the pit lane really destroyed his entire race. Very sad for him. Here we see the Colombian driver now rounding up the last half of the oval. Only one chicane to go. And this is it. This is it for our race at Charlotte. Oh my god, I can't wait for the interviews. I cannot wait for them. Okay, so we will sadly not have an interview from Alessandro Iso. He said that his girlfriend is gonna kill him if he stays even longer, so that's...
That's why he didn't pit. That makes a lot of sense. He didn't pit because he literally couldn't spare the 45 seconds to pit.
No, yeah, 14 seconds to Chris, that really made the difference. So, watching at the results, Alessandro is the winner of the race. Chris Van Ness in second place, Benny Fitch third, Elias Stromer fourth, Stefano Barratato in fifth place. Basiotto sixth, he have not finished the race. He was in the pit lane. So, from Basiotto to De Bucrofti, all didn't finish the race or haven't started the race. Okay, so we will hear from Benny Fidge. Hello, Benny.
Oh, hello.
Wow, it's been a mad race. I don't know how did you see it because you have been involved in a crash at start, and since then it has been a pretty calm race for you. So talk us through that.
Yeah, I mean, it looked pretty good, starting P2, and almost getting P1 into the first corners, but just had to back out because my rear didn't want to overtake him, I guess. But yeah, then had that crash. I really couldn't react to it. He just stuck his nose in while I had cold tires and was struggling to even get around the corner. Then just spun us both around. I mean, yeah, what are you gonna do? I, for my part, couldn't really avoid it. It happened. Move on, you know. Just gotta get your head down at that point and don't get too mad about that. But yeah, the rest of the race was pretty calm, but still very exhausting, I felt, because it's just very, very long corners, and especially the entry into the oval. If you go into the gas a bit too early, you smash into the wall or have to lift off so much that you basically lose a position if someone is behind you. So yeah, still pretty exhausting.
Yeah, you've mentioned the crash you've had at the start, and the Biasiotto have not been penalized. The incident haven't been investigated for them. I wonder, what is your opinion on the incident? Do you think that Biasiotto should have been penalized, or was the right decision from your perspective?
I think it should have been penalized, not very much, but I think a bit at least. Because I mean, he saw me struggling, and then he basically makes a move where I have to comply or we crash. So I just thought it was a really stupid decision, especially because he saw I was struggling. He could have just waited for the next straight. The problem would have likely not been fixed by then. So yeah, I think it was a pretty weird move to make if you see me having struggling with the control of the.
Yeah, Benny, I have one more question for you. You know, being in a race like this when nothing happens, and I was also talking to Wes, what was going through your mind? Like lap after lap after lap after lap, the gap being so big in front and so big in the back. Like how did you approach the race?
Yeah, I mean it's actually more action for the driver. I mean, even excluding the driving itself, because you're, or at least I am basically constantly staring at the relative, at least on the straight, and you're looking like, okay, I gained 2/10 in that last lap. And so it's a lot more thinking and pushing yourself, also motivating yourself. I thought I had pretty good pace this race. I constantly at least caught up a bit with the pack in front. Got that P2 in the P3 in the end, but yeah, it's. I mean, on the paper it wasn't very eventful, but it's more action for the driver, I'd say.
Yep. Thank you, Benny, and congratulations for your podium.
Thank you guys for having me.
Chris.
Hello.
Hello, Chris. Second place. Finally, you are not third anymore because you finished third in the first races. So I'm wondering, it's been a weird race. You know, you've been third, you've had a bell with Stefano, then he pitted, had a long pit stop, then you were leading, then you boxed again, getting close to Alessandro. So I'm wondering, like, just talk us through your race.
Yeah, from the beginning, when we got the crash in the beginning, I was very lucky to avoid it, so I could just continue on in front, and I just had the strategy, the same strategy as in Silverstone, pretty much, where whenever you have a caution, it's gonna be pretty close for fuel. So I just try to save as much fuel as possible. And in the first stint, I managed to get like 2 laps on Estefano, I believe. So it was going pretty well, and I was looking at my fuel and was like, yeah, no way I'm gonna make it to the end. But so I just kept pushing a bit more to overtake Estefano after my second stop. But Alessandro, I don't know how he did it, but he managed to save so much more fuel than I did. So yeah, well done to him.
I'm wondering, Chris, what was going through your mind after you boxed, seeing that Alessandro is staying out on track? Did you thought that he's going to run out of fuel, or did you thought that you would just catch him because he was so slow?
Yeah, I thought it was really close. With like in the middle of my stint, I calculated I would need to save another 0.5 liters per lap to make it to the end, roughly. and I was already on like 2.1 liters per lap, so that would mean I would need to go down to 1.6, which is really a lot. So it's like, yeah, no way that's gonna happen. And then Alessandro fell back little by little, and I was thinking, yeah, maybe he hit the wall, he has a problem or whatever. But he was just saving so much fuel.
Yep. Thank you, Chris, and congratulations for your podium. So I think this has been it for our third race of our Christmas series. The next race is going to be in 2022 on Sunday, 2nd of January, but we will be having a race tomorrow from 7 p.m. with the Super Formulas. Till then, take care and see you guys next time.